evening, humanity. It's May 27th, 2019, and once again, it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. Guess who's who?
And here we are. Wow.
Hi, my name is Paul.
Hi, my name's Bev.
And we are here to have another wonderful day with you folks on this Memorial Day in the United States.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So we will have a good show based on this question. What do we need to know to practice BioTouch?
That's going to be interesting.
We have a piece in our class. It's what's the difference between knowledge and knowing?
Yeah.
I always like that one.
Yeah, that's a grabber for everybody, really. Yeah.
So if you know the difference between knowledge and knowing, put it on the comments there. Otherwise, we're going to talk a little bit about what you need to know when doing BioTouch. But first, we had a great workshop.
Wasn't it? I'm just learning so much about some of these conditions that are concepts,
right? As we're going to go
that
in,
we'll
right?
talk about. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, these amazing presenters are just doing a wonderful job for us.
Last Thursday was on bunions. You know, simple, think it's easy. I'll tell you, Denise was amazing in how she presented how the body works, and this is connected to that. And
well, isn't that a reminder?
Yes.
It's not an isolated anything. Everything works together or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, it was really fun when she shared how she, young lady, getting her own bunions and how it came to be, based on this muscle tension and this tendon. And, so anybody can get a bunion.
Right.
So then we taught how to work on them, and everybody loved it.
I know.
So that is posted on our YouTube site. It's also on our Facebook feed. And, if you have any questions about how to work with bunions, contact us. And I guess while we're talking about it, we do have the next workshop coming up, Death and Dying.
That one is, yeah.
And we have this great speaker, John Abraham, who's an Episcopal priest, a thanatologist, and an author. And he's been a founder of numerous hospice programs. And so that word thanatologist, it's like, what in the heck does that mean?
I know. I didn't know.
Yes, now we know.
But we found out.
Do you know what it is? Comment there.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll tell you at the end of the show.
Right. Oh, yeah. There you go. Tune in for the answer at the end of the show.
So let's go ahead with the question of our day. What do we need to know to practice BioTouch? And, it all started with Bev came in this morning, and she read this little thing to me, and she'll read it here. It's by a woman. Her name's Alice Bailey.
Right.
A great teacher of humanity.
Yes, she is.
And
yes.
When Bev read this, I was like, oh, that's a perfect purpose of our show. So
because it reminded me of us.
Yes.
BioTouch, right? Well, and very quickly, she's talking about herself as a lecturer in her early days and how smug she was. And then she realized this. An audience loves a lecturer who can look at them and say, goodness, I haven't the least idea. And what she was saying was when you are presenting anything, when you do it human to human, it brings us all into that circle of our own humanity or connectedness. And so that's how we have decided to present BioTouch, because this is for always, we say, it's for every single one of us. It brings us into our humanness together.
Yes.
Right?
And that's always how, whenever, in all the years we've been teaching instructors to teach, the first thing we say, stand up in front of that group of people, tell them how scared you are, how uncomfortable you are.
Right. Oh, my.
And immediately you will be in relationship with people. You don't have to stand up in front of a group of people and pretend to have it all together. People, They want humanness. They want somebody to speak with them, not to them.
Boy, that I learned that. In my whole journey of becoming an instructor, and what you get to do is tell your own story, because each one of us is a beautiful story.
Yes.
Aren't we? Oh.
I always used to, when I was teaching high school kids and stuff, I always used to like to say, our life is a story. and we can write it any way we want.
Ooh, I love that. Oh, that's so exciting.
And so when I found BioTouch, to me, that was a way for people to write their story. So let's go over we'll start with our manual. And in our preface, right away, it tells about this whole idea that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, and right in this third paragraph, there is no attempt in the following pages to explain why these procedures work. The goal is only to teach an individual how to touch certain points, which will help to facilitate the healing process rather than to do something.
Oh, I always like that. Get rid of the doing. We don't have to be doers all the time.
Right. Boy, isn't that a concept?
Yes.
That's a crazy concept that we don't have value, we don't have anything to offer unless we're doing something.
Yeah. And BioTouch, it's really about being able to present to a group of people. I mean, every time in a class, somebody asks us a question. By the end of the class, it's sort of a joke.
It is.
Because they know the answer is going to be, we don't know.
I love that about us.
Yes.
I love that about how we present BioTouch. The biggest thing that comes to me and why we do that is, well, two reasons. Because we really don't know.
Right.
But the other one is, and you'll talk about this in a little bit, when we say to somebody, we don't really know, or just like Alice, goodness, I don't have the least idea. We are not putting our concepts or our beliefs or our truth, whatever you want to call it, onto anybody else, because BioTouch itself, in that creativity, lets each of us unfold our own story without anybody else's stuff.
And that's why we love teaching BioTouch. That's why I really started BioTouch. The fact that bodies got better for me, that was just sort of the icing on the cake.
Right.
What I really liked about the presentation of BioTouch is every single one of us, all of you out there, you are the healer. You don't need to go to somebody to give you the juice or an initiation or to give you all kinds of knowledge about anatomy and energy and lights and colors and no, you take the two fingers, you lightly touch another human being, and you let the story unfold. And not with a bunch of concepts, that we were talking about that. Somebody comes in, I work on some people, I've been working on them for years. But if I hold a concept about them, like, oh, they have cancer, oh, they have liver cancer, oh, it can only be this and nothing else, I miss the beautiful opportunities that come from what we're going to show later, little local work enhancements of meeting that person new that day.
In their humanness.
In their human, that's a good word.
Yeah.
And so then other points will come to me, other situations will come to me.
Which kind of leads us into what we were, so I got to share something. I don't know, earlier this year at the certification class. I guess maybe it was last year. Anyway, Paul's up there giving one of the classes, and he pipes up with something I'd never heard him say before. And he says, BioTouch is an art form. And immediately I went, oh my gosh, what a great thing to say. Because when we are creating an art form, it's spontaneous. So, that took us into, oh my gosh, that's BioTouch. When we were just talking about two people practicing it and being in that humanness, there's no concepts, there's nothing in the way of pure beingness in that moment and creating the possibilities for the body.
And what's interesting? We talk about love your neighbor, love another human. That's real love. That space that we allow to happen in the relationship without concepts about one another.
Oh, man.
And then to be able to apply that in our daily life with our family, with our friends, with trees. You don't call a tree anymore. You just see the shape and the different colors and the wind moving through it. What if we related to one another like that in a healing process?
Oh, well, we already know what could happen. The whole heart of humanity would begin to heal.
It's incredible. And BioTouch gives us that opportunity. What do you need to know to practice? You just need to know you're a human being. And even that we're not even sure about.
Right.
We think this body, moves and it has blood. I mean, I've never seen the blood moving through my body. I've never seen my heart in my body. I've never seen the liver. Those are all concepts people gave me, and then they showed me pictures about it. I don't need to know any of that to do BioTouch. I just need to have that simple inherent desire to want to help another human being.
Absolutely.
That's it. And we all have that, so you don't even need to know that.
That's inherent, as we're saying. That's inherent in your humanity.
Just do the points. We got Sandy Knights with us.
Hi,
and
Sandy.
Cheryl's with us. Hey, gang, how are you?
Yeah.
And we want to share with you, when I talk about that art form years ago when I was out on the land studying with grandfather. Grandfather actually studied with a teacher in New York. His name was Robert Henry. He was a teacher at, I think, the New York Art Museum. I don't know, some big art school in New York. And he wrote a book called Art Spirit, still being published. This is back in the 20s. And so we picked a couple of little lines from his book. And one of them was, he goes on, he says, art, when really understood, is the province of every human being.
Oh, look at that. That's so beautiful.
Art, when really understood. And that's what we're talking about. The province of every human being. That's BioTouch. It's the province of every human being.
Yes, absolutely.
And when understood, what does it mean to be understood? Well, he goes on to say, I have little interest in teaching you what I know. I wish to stimulate you to tell me what you know.
Oh, dear. That's the one I loved. When I read that, I'm like, well, there it is right there. Because as Paul and I are always saying, this healing, this story unfolding, this awareness is innate in every single one of you. We all are just that. And so when we are practicing BioTouch, it really stimulates what's already there in that self-awareness. It may be touching on the body, which is an amazing place for that process to begin, but that's just the beginning. Because the rest of who we are, that's why we say we're holistic, this amazing technique is holistic, is because all those other amazing parts of ourselves begin to respond. That is when that's when the artistry begins, right? We begin to create in this amazing spontaneity of our own divinity, our own humanity, our own beauty.
And in that spontaneity, well, what's beautiful is, we just teach this how to touch a point. And we only teach you to take these two fingers and lightly touch another human being. And then we just give you permission, not that you need it, but in the healing world, there's all these systems that you have to fit into this. You have to center yourself. You have to perceive the light or the aura or the. In this one, you just reach out and touch someone, and the spontaneity you talked about, you just let the fingers go to whatever comes to you. People always say, well, can I do this? Can I touch here? Can I? The minute somebody says can, we always say to them, if it came to you, if you thought about it, do it.
Do it. Absolutely, because you're trusting yourself.
Yes.
This is gaining confidence. And when you were saying that, I was thinking, so if we relate BioTouch to art, when we give ourselves the opportunity to go deeper with a recipient or with another human being, and we perform those enhancements and that local work, we're doing body art. Because our fingers are just being guided by love. I have been so present when I do that extra work that I feel like I am connecting with them at a cellular level. It's the most, oh my gosh, do yourself a favor and learn how to touch with BioTouch another human being. Oh, it's gorgeous.
It changes everything. It changes the physical. It changes the relational.
Yeah.
It just changes and changes and changes. And the beauty is, we don't know what it's going to change it to. We don't have a concept either of how it should look. We don't say, oh, it'll get rid of cancer, or it'll get rid of your flu, or it'll get rid of that, or it'll make you whole and better. We don't know what it will do. We do know it will help create change within you, the recipient, and us, the practitioner.
And all those possibilities.
Yeah, it's a symbiotic little meshing together and growing out. Did you get that?
Ooh, I like it.
So it's an art form. What do you need to know? You don't need to know anything. In fact, it's beautiful that we can all finally turn to one another and go, I don't know.
Oh, isn't that freeing?
Yes. And people say that all the time in our class. You know, I've learned all these things, but boy, I feel so free doing BioTouch.
It does. It frees us from, as I was told by a couple of massage therapists in one of our things, it frees us from the concepts of the little self, the little ego that gets in the way, that has to be satisfied with, am I doing enough? Am I doing all those questions? And this is why we maintain that we don't know, because we take all that away from the ego.
So that's empowering. It's letting you take responsibility for your own health care and listen to all the other stuff. You didn't get a diagnosis. You know, Jenny just went to a retina specialist and they had all this stuff and they're telling you all this. That's all fine and good. And then I said to her, okay, let's go home and do BioTouch. We'll make all the appointments to do the external intervention. But let's just, in that 3 months, see if BioTouch can make a change. Something will change.
Oh,
will
yeah.
she get better? Will the problem go away? We have no idea. But something will change.
Yes.
And we're going to find out what that is. And so we're going to teach you how to do the local work and enhancements from our manual. This is the part where we do 25, 30, 40% of what we do is just based on local work and enhancements.
Enhancements in local work may be performed anywhere extra attention is needed due to disease, pain, infection, rashes, broken bones, cuts, or unusual growths. For example, local work could be performed in an area where there is an unusual growth such as a mole, cyst, or tumor. This area may be touched using any combination of matching fire, through fire, sweeps, and hold points. It can also be addressed by holding on the affected area with one hand and sweeping from the corresponding area of the spine with the other hand. Local work can also be used to address any type of scars. Also, jaw and dental problems may be addressed by applying local work to the face. There is no limit to the different ways an associate.
And as you can see, that goes on and on and on.
Anywhere on the body.
Just these two fingers lightly touching some local kind of problem. And then just trust it. Just trust what comes to you. You can't hurt anybody. You can't create disease. You can only help the body in its healing process.
No, it's perfect.
It's perfect. So this was another perfect day, huh?
Yes.
But we told you we were going to answer a question for you. Not a question. We were going to give you a definition because our speaker, John Abraham, is an Episcopal priest, a thanatologist, and an author, and we wanted to share with you what is a thanatologist. If you haven't looked it up yet, it is the science of death.
Isn't that amazing? I never knew that until we looked it up.
Yes, and I'll tell you, this is going to be an awesome workshop. There's one thing we all know that's going to happen while we're stuck in this body, and that is someday it will shed itself and go back to the earth.
Lovely way to put it.
Yes, and we call it death. We call it the dying process. Right. And BioTouch is awesome in that process.
Well, it changes the whole quality of that journey.
Yeah. So we hope you will enjoy us for that particular workshop, and that'll be the 4th weekend in June, and we'll talk to you more about it. Otherwise, what do you know today? Well, one thing I do know, I love you. And I love you.
I love you.
And we love all of you.
We do. You're so loved.
So,
And happy Memorial Day.
happy Memorial Day. Enjoy your celebration of the loved ones that you know that you have passed away in your life. And we'll see you all next week again. Thank you much.
Have a wonderful week.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real sad